Is it just me, or does it sometimes seem like you keep dating the same person over and over just in a different body? Or like you're repeating the same lesson, same cycle over and over? If you're someone who would like to eventually find somebody that they can grow with, someone who you could have something stable with, then these are 10 things that you need to know in order to become a valuable woman and also attract your soulmate. And if you're already seeing someone, then this is the way to get them to act right. I found myself dating men who did not fulfill my needs. And of course, to them, I was asking for too much, I was being unrealistic, or my standards were too high. This cycle of attracting men who did not check off my boxes went on for years until I finally decided to reflect on this and ask myself, how do I play a part in the men that I keep coming across? Could it possibly be me? Because attracting the right person does start with you. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I never really looked at it as me possibly being the problem, because I know I'm a full course meal, but really more so, I know that I have the qualities that a person looks for. I'm loyal, I'm nurturing, I'm compassionate, I communicate, I can cook, I can clean, all of the things. So why would I be the problem, right? Wrong. Because I was also the girl who had no standards, no self-worth, no boundaries, and who tolerated the bare minimum. Although, yes, I desired someone who was romantic, who was thoughtful, who would communicate with me, who was compassionate of me, and all of the beautiful romantic things, because I am a lover at heart, I would also always make excuses for the things that they lack. While I was a full course meal, they were a side dish. Let me just say that over the past 15 years that I've been dating and in relationships, I've learned a lot of valuable things. And it wasn't until I started to actually learn to love myself and value myself and apply the things that I'm about to share with you that I started attracting the right people in my life, and that I started appreciating myself more. I became so much more picky about who I invested my energy and time into, which in turn saved me a lot of heartache and a lot of disappointment. And basically all I'm trying to say in this video is, I'm sure that you're someone who has a lot to offer. I'm sure that you're genuine, that your love is pure, and that you would like to receive that in return. However, that's a lot easier said than done, specifically in today's dating world, which is so disconnected, and people are not willing to take accountability and do the work that is required to heal themselves and to show up better in relationships. People are not really willing to work together, to communicate, and to grow together. People tend to give up a lot more easier than to try. And this is why we find ourselves jumping from situationship to relationship and so on. So if you truly want to end the game, at least for yourself, you have to have standards, you have to have boundaries, you have to know your worth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Number one, and obviously one of the most important, is knowing your worth, my beautiful queen. You have to know that you are the prize. You have to hold yourself on a pedestal. And when you're getting to know someone, when you're dating, show up as such. Knowing your worth is simply knowing that you deserve the treatment that you know you are worthy of, the same treatment that you give them. And of course, that goes deeper into self-love and self-care, such as getting used to doing the things for yourself that you want someone else to do for you. If you're looking for someone to romanticize you, bring you flowers, pamper you, spoil you, start by doing those things for yourself, so that when that person isn't doing those things for you, you won't even have the patience to tolerate less than that, because you already do that for yourself. So it's sort of like, what can you do for me that I don't already do for myself? You have that value, that worth. You know you're the gem, you know you're the diamond, and you should be treated no less than. Number two, knowing what you want. Listen to me, my beautiful love. Please do not limit yourself. Do not limit what you want out of a partner. I don't care how perfect, how extreme it is. If you want someone who is tall, short, bearded, not bearded, makes 6 figures, works out, doesn't work out, buys you candy, doesn't buy you candy, whatever it is that you want, be clear on what it is that you want out of a partner. Do you want them to be emotionally mature? Do you want them to also be romantic? Do you want them to know how to communicate effectively? Do you want them to be compassionate? What type of habits does this person have? Do they smoke? Do they drink? Are they a family person? Do they want children? More than the physical appearance and more of who they are, I want you to come up with the full picture, sort of like my video on becoming your ideal self, how I walked you through creating a character for yourself. I want you to do the same thing with your ideal person. Think of all of his characteristics and be very clear on this. I actually encourage you to write this down. Describe them to the very detail, if you know what I mean. Number 3, what are your standards? And probably one of the most important things, you need to know your standards. What are your non-negotiables? Do you want this person or do you want this relationship to be consistent and built on honesty, communication, loyalty, respect, values, romance? Are your standards that you have to feel safe with this person? Think about it this way. Whoever you're seeing, whoever you're dating, what about this person is a must? What about this person would turn you off or would encourage you to leave them if they did not have? And again, don't limit yourself. If for you, one of your standards is that you want someone to spoil you, to pamper you, then that's your standards, but be clear on these as well. Also, another aspect that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to your standards, or a way to know if you have lowered your standards, is when you are putting in too much energy and too much effort into the relationship than the other person is, and you tolerate it, you settle for that. Because as you know, that will only deplete you of your energy and it'll lead to you feeling unhappy. Number 4, boundaries. And this sort of ties in with your standards. Your boundaries are, what are the things that you are not going to tolerate? What is not acceptable to you? Is it the way that they speak to you? Is it that you will never allow them to raise their voice? Is it that you don't want them to be controlling over you hanging out with your friends or what you post on social media? Is it that no means no, and if you're not in the mood, you're not in the freaking mood? Is it them gaslighting you? Get clear on what you know you certainly do not want your partner to do or be like in a relationship. Number 5, being direct and clear. As a high value woman, and again, as a woman that holds themselves in a pedestal, you will tell that person exactly what you want and what you desire. You need to be straightforward and have an open communication early on, or even if you're already in a relationship, about your feelings and what you want long term from this connection. Do you want kids? Do you want marriage together? What about finances and work? I think it's really important to discuss these things early on, because later down the line, once you've become attached to this person, once you're in love, you find yourself having different values. You find yourself wanting different things. Oh, I didn't really want to get married. Oh, I didn't really want kids. And that's something that you should have figured out at the beginning of the connection or at some point in the connection. Number 6, intimacy or sex. When it comes to pleasure and intimacy, you have to know that this is one of the most important aspects in a relationship, despite of what society says. It's just what it is. It's important. And it's a way of you to connect with your partner on a much deeper, spiritual, emotional level. It can actually make the connection stronger if handled appropriately. And this is exactly why I wanted to put this in the list. You should also be voicing yourself when it comes to sex. Be clear, be direct about what you like and don't like, what you would like to experience more of, what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, what you're open to, and even what you would like to see more of from them. Maybe they're not drinking enough from the pond. Okay, no, but seriously, maybe they're not giving you enough oral sex, or maybe they're not performing it in the way that is pleasurable to you. And really, that's just a waste of time for the both of you. So why not be clear about it? Why not be open enough to teach each other these things, and vice versa? Make sure that you're asking them what they would like to receive more from you, or how can you do or spice things up more. Please don't leave this behind. I'm telling you, it is very important. Number 7, do not baby him. For the love of God, do not repeat yourself more than, I would say, 2 times on how it is that you want to be treated and on what it is that you want out of this connection. I think it's fair to at least communicate these things to that person. You shouldn't expect them to just be perfect and know it all. And I also think that it's okay to guide your partner in whatever way that you can. However, you really have to be careful with this, because there's this fine line of mothering your partner, of constantly finding yourself in this cycle of asking them how to treat you, to be more romantic, to clean up after themselves, to help you with dishes, to help you with groceries, to help you cook, to all of these things, right, that are important to you. It is not your job to baby them. They are supposed to meet you halfway. They're supposed to work with you. And actually, I don't even know that I truly believe in the halfway thing. I think that relationships should be 100-100, not 50-50. We put in the same amount of effort. We put in as much as we can from both ends. And remember that they are not your child. They should also take responsibility for the part they play in this relationship. Number 8, let them fight for your attention. Don't always be so quick to be available. Don't always be so quick to come to the rescue. Don't always just text back. If they have gone 3 days, 2 days without texting you back, don't instantly go and respond back as if you had been waiting for them to text you back. You might already know that there's this thing with rejection, and not that you want to approach this as a way of rejecting them. You don't want to play games here, but you also don't want to make yourself overly available. Show them that your time is valuable. Show them that you're not here to play games. And if they're not acting serious about you, then you can easily move on. Basically, with this, you want to let them show you how serious they are about you. Let them show you through their actions if they truly mean business about you. Number 9, be yourself. And this is going to dive a little bit into a rabbit hole. As a valuable woman, that means that you also have something to offer. There's a reason why men are attracted to or find certain women irresistible. It is because of the way that they carry themselves. It is because of their energy, their frequency, and what they bring to the table. Are you someone who is confident in themselves, who is genuine, who is loving, who is pure, who has empathy and compassion, who is loyal, who is valuable to their life? Do you support your partner? Do you nurture them? And the reason that I asked this, the reason why I decided to include this on this, is because I've met women who think that just because they're being intimate with a man, that they have some sort of entitlement or power over them. And then they're expecting this person to spoil them, to be romantic, to ask them to be their boyfriend or girlfriend, to ask them to move in and to show deeper commitment, when they themselves have not shown that they are wifey or high value material. Just because they're giving the goods up, they think that that's enough. And believe me, although men or women, if you're into women, might seem a little, at times, they're not as dumb as you may think. They do look at these things as well. They do consider who you are, what you bring to the table, how you approach them, what you do for them as well, as they should. Because if you're high value, then you should want a high value person as well. Your man, your woman should also be someone that respects themselves and also expects high value treatment. Last but not least, controlling your emotions. As a high value woman, as someone who is confident in themselves, as a woman that walks with this radiating energy, you will not act out of your character. You will not give your power to somebody else to have control over your mood and your energy. Yes, things are going to happen that are going to upset you. Maybe they say something that triggers you, or maybe they go more than a few days without texting you and not responding back. This is where you're going to turn on your dark feminine energy and sort of reciprocate that energy. And again, not on some petty attitude, but more so in knowing your worth. If they do something to upset you, or let's say in this example, if they go a couple of days without texting you back, and this is something you've already expressed how you feel about, simply remove yourself. Give them that same space, give them that same treatment. Take a breather, take a walk, give yourself some time, go hang out with your girlfriends, go do something that focuses on you, instead of having the same conversation you've already had with them 100 times about how their behavior, their actions affected you or hurted you. Because obviously they're just gonna keep doing it as they have. in conclusion, my beautiful friend, when it comes to attracting your ideal partner, when it comes to you being a high valuable woman, a woman that knows themselves, a woman that respects and values themselves, it really comes down to self-work. So the best thing that you can do is focus on developing a stronger connection and relationship to yourself, learning to love yourself more through acts of self-love, actually applying and practicing respecting yourself, healing your past wounds when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the way that you view yourself, your self-esteem, and of course, practicing self-love. Take yourself out on a date, buy yourself the flowers. You don't have to just wait for someone else to do those things for you. Be yourself, be as fun, as silly, as goofy as you want to be. Be whoever you are authentically, because the person that is for you will love you just as you are. And of course, you can never go wrong with focusing on you. If you want to dive deeper into developing yourself and becoming your most ideal version, then watch this video next, because I go in depth on how to do just that. Thank you, my beautiful friend, and until the next time, see ya.